Thanks very much. I'm mostly playing songs from my most recent album, which is called Buddy Newcomb. That was the title song on the record. This one is called Away. discourage any sales of my records, of course, but that may have been better than the version now. Typically, I've been announcing the names of the songs without saying too much about them, but I did a gig at the end of last year up in Montreal, and I talked a little bit about the C word, COVID, and I said I don't know how people without pets will manage to get through it, because it makes such a difference having animals, you know. And there are, some people that just don't have pets and don't understand pets. And there's something wrong with those people, you know. I've met some of them, there's something missing, you know. So, but anyway, I mentioned this at this show, and I happened to say that this song, which is called Black and White and Gray, was dedicated to my two cats. And I got such a wild reception that I thought, maybe I should start announcing this every time. So here it is. This is Black and White and Gray. There's an introduction, and then Django, Black and White, and Gray, Hopscotch. Hopscotch was a rescue. I found him on the side of the road off 95. In North Carolina, heading into Virginia after I played the Hopscotch festivals. That's his name. That's a new piece. It doesn't have a name yet. I made the mistake of playing a piece that didn't have a name at a show that I did in, I think in Baltimore. And I invited people to make suggestions. And you kind of heard what my material sounds like if you've gotten a vibe. Some pair of guys came up afterwards and said, yeah, I think we got a name for that new piece of yours. I said, oh yeah, what are you thinking? It's like Gone Fishing. So I said, why did you think of Gone Fishing? Because that's the name of his boat. Like it was so obvious. I did not use it. Now I don't invite people to make suggestions. This is a new piece too. This is called Kathy Maltese. Okay, I'm going to finish with this. There's a story that goes with most of my pieces. Some I tell if I have the leisure time to do it. Some I tell if no one can stop me. And some I just tell. And this is one. In 1971, I started college in Richmond, Virginia. I was a student at Virginia Commonwealth University majoring in painting and printmaking. And I'd grown up in the 60s and was a fan of a lot of the rock music that was being played in the 60s. I saw Jimi Hendrix a couple times and Captain Beefheart in his heyday and other cool, groovy groups. By the early 70s, though, rock and roll had started to kind of suck, you know. And during that period, living down in Richmond, I really started to get into pre-war country blues, old-timey music, gospel, hillbilly, etc. And pretty soon I found myself, there weren't that many reissues out, but I was buying pretty much every reissue that was on, Yazoo and County and a number of others. And there's something about this music from another era that I think feels romantic. As anything that is gone, that doesn't exist anymore, that has an aura of romance about it, you know. And so listening to all this pre-war country and blues and stuff, it was like listening to music from another world or another century, another time, you know. And it had this feeling of like, this never comes back again, this is gone, you know. And we can only hear it through these, these old reissues of 78 RPM records, you know. Well, two of the people I was going to college with tried to disabuse me of this notion. They said, you know, if you're really into this music, there's a guy that's living in Fairfax, Virginia, who plays this music and is great. His name is John Jackson. And my reaction to the time was like, yeah, right, somebody's still playing this music, you know. I didn't want my little romantic dream shattered, you know. So during one of our college breaks, they dragged me up to Rappahannock County and to the home of John Jackson and Cora Jackson, his wife, a house that they built themselves. And John proceeded to play music for us for about 3 or 4 hours. His wife Cora would bring us in food every now and then. And I ended up going back about, at least 4 or 5 times and spending a number of delightful evenings in their company. And it kind of shattered my illusions in a good way, that this music was not dead. It wasn't just, kept alive in a bottle or something like that with formaldehyde, or was only available through the hiss of old 78s. That there was people for whom this music was a living, vital part of their lives, you know. And John had a very, would you say, Catholic taste. Anything he liked, he would play. And so he played Carter family songs for us, Jimmy Rogers, Blind Boy Fuller, Blind Blake, any kind of Delta blues or country music. And for John, if he liked something, he would play it. He wasn't ashamed to play it or anything else. He didn't have any ideas about, oh, this is what you play and you shouldn't. And he would even do like early Carl Perkins and Elvis Presley songs, because, you know, That's All Right Mama and Mystery Train, stuff like that, aren't so far removed stylistically from the kind of music that he was playing. So I became friends with John, and later when I was working for a record label in Boston, and I believe, is my co-worker George Thomas here tonight?
Yes.
George was the person that trained me around when I started in 1977, 78, and we didn't serve in Vietnam, but we did serve at Rounder for quite a few years. This was, in many ways, it was a wonderful experience. It was also a trial at times too, as anything like that can be, anything that you care about. I mean, but anyway, I ended up producing a couple records by John for the label, one called Step Up and Go, and one called Deep in the Bottom. And so I wanted to kind of write an homage to John Jackson. So this is it. It's called John Jackson of Fairfax, Virginia. And before I finish, I want to say thank you, Anne, and thank you, Greg, for suggesting this suggesting us for this gig. It's a wonderful space. Thank you all for listening, and I guess that's all. So talk to me after the gig. I also want to say that it's been, I think this is our 5th or 6th show together. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think Liam and I have done a bunch of shows together. Let's say it was in the less than a half a dozen. So, and it's been a pleasure playing with him, even though he's, kind of bitten at my heels and chewed my ass at a couple of the shows. But he'll be up to give you his best shortly. So, thank you, Liam. Thank you all again.